Hey everybody, today we are going to be talking about cutting vinyl. Vinyl is something we've been doing for the last couple of years. It started as a birthday gift for Joy, at least I think it was a birthday gift. And you're right, because we were talking about this before. It was on a wish list now that I think about it.
And you got me the better one than I wanted.
You had put I think you had put a Cricut.
Yeah.
So we actually have a Cameo. So Cricut, everyone says Cricut and they mean vinyl cutter in general.
Kind of like the Kleenex tissue thing?
Yes. Anyway, we've been cutting vinyl for a couple years now, and we've done everything from decals for things like cars, mugs, cups, ornaments, yep, for the Christmas tree. Actually, I just sent my aunt some cutouts for ornaments. I forgot about that. And what we're gonna be doing today is things like clothing, shirts, other wearables and things like that. So today what we're gonna do is we're gonna design something Christmassy. So it's the Christmas season. So we're gonna design something fun, seasonal.
For me.
We won't spoil what we're actually gonna be throwing up there. You'll see that when we cut to the montage.
I've had it on my list of ideas for a while now.
And we're only, what, 3 days from Christmas or something like that?
Yep, so there's still time.
By the time you see this, it might be Christmas, so.
Or later.
Just in time for the holiday season. So what we're gonna do, like I said, is we're going to design that. We're going to show the cutting process on the vinyl cutter itself. And then we'll show the least favorite part of the process, which is weeding, which is where you take all the negative away. And then finally, we'll put it on a shirt and Joy will try it on for us. So you said it is yours.
Yeah.
It's for you, right?
Yeah.
So then Joy will try it on. So we'll go down to the studio and she can model it.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's go and design a shirt. I like to do all of my design work in Adobe Illustrator. I find it gives me more flexibility than even the tools that Silhouette or Cricut offer. The other benefit is that Silhouette has an Adobe Illustrator plugin that lets me send to the vinyl cutter without ever having to go through their web servers or anything like that. Here we're just putting together a very basic text-oriented design. It's from one of our favorite Christmas movies. If you know what it is, say it in the comments. As we continue to tweak the design, I'm going to pull in some clip art from FreePic. I like to use FreePic or Envato for vector-based artwork like this. And we're going to adjust this tree to make sure that it's only 2 colors, just like our text. So we're going to edit it, remove some of the other colors, tweak it to match the overall design. I think we're going to add some ornaments and things like that just to brighten it up and make it a little more Christmassy and to make use of those 2 colors. All right, let's go ahead and wrap up this design. We're going to make a couple adjustments to the tree. We're going to play with some of the coloring and sizing and make sure it's ready to send to the vinyl cutter. I like to bring Joy in and review the design, make sure it's what she kind of envisioned in her head before finally sending it to the cutter and cutting actual vinyl. And a super important step in this process is to flip the design once it's done. When you apply it to a shirt, it actually needs to be a reverse because you're gonna cut out the back of the vinyl. Now we're gonna send it to the vinyl cutter software. I use Silhouette Connect, which is an Adobe Illustrator plugin and companion app. That lets me take the design, send it into their software, and prepare it to go to the vinyl cutter. I like to send the whole design at first, even if it's multiple colors, to get a feel for the sizing and placement. But then I go and duplicate the design and try to make the best use of all the different colors. This saves me on vinyl and lets me cut smaller sheets. So now we can get it prepped and ready to go to the cutter. I'm positioning the green and we're gonna go ahead and send it off to the vinyl cutter. I load the vinyl in and I let it go. Next, we're gonna do the red. So I load the red design in and send that off to the vinyl cutter as well. Now we're going to do my personally least favorite part of the process, which is weeding. This is where you take away the negative space of the vinyl to show the design. I also like to do a bit of trimming here to get rid of any scraps that might be salvageable for smaller designs in the future. So I really enjoy this paper cutter that I have. You can pick one of these up from Walmart, Hobby Lobby, etc. It's normally used for paper, but it works really well with vinyl to cut out your designs. And And here you can see I'm actually slicing out those individual pieces of the design that we're going to go and rearrange into the final shirt. So let's go ahead and cut out this green, and then we'll take it over and iron it on the shirt. All right, so we have gone through the design process. We've gone through the cutting process. We went through the weeding process. And now, finally, we can actually put the design on the shirt. So Joy has just a basic white sweatshirt, which should look really good.
Used sweatshirt from Yada Yada. I probably could have bleached it so it's more white, but oh well. Anyway, so I went ahead and I ironed it a little bit just so I have a flat surface to work with. This process always brings out my OCD side, I guess, because you have to center it, and that means getting the shirt to lay flat. And that's when you really start noticing how things are really poorly made. Because while I'm doing this, I keep getting it, set, and you can see this seam is not even like laying flat. Things aren't quite right, so you notice the flaws in clothes really fast when you do this. So usually before I start the heat on it, I will have it laid out and then I'll be like, hey, look at it. Will you make sure it's centered for me? And then he'll look at it. And sometimes words need to go up a little higher. I forget the rule.
One tip I'll give people that are doing this at home. So one thing I've noticed from COVID is, I was just telling Joy this, I've seen probably 3 or 4 people order vinyl cutters during the pandemic. So I'm gonna give you a tip if you do heat transfer vinyl. If you have a design and you wanna know what the center is, here you can see I have excess on the side. Now I could just cut that, or take the corners of your design, fold it, and then go to an empty spot and pinch. Don't pinch the vinyl though, because then you'll get a seam. So try to pinch just that. So even that was a little tight. So now I have this line here that tells me what the center is, and then I can go and line that up with the neck. And most designs you want to do like 2 to 3 finger widths from the collar, or like 2 inches, 3 inches. So that's the center. So I'd say that's probably your center point there. Something else as well is, if you were watching the design process, the tree we did as a multicolor tree. So I actually have this other piece of vinyl here that we're gonna put on after we put down the first. Now I did an overlay where the red is gonna go on top of the green. You could also do cutouts where there will be holes, but that's really hard to line up. So there's another tip for you. Do an overlay, because heat transfer can go on top of heat transfer. So we're gonna do this after we get this done. I think that's close, but you take a look and see what you think.
And like if I wanted to check a couple of the spots here, like to make sure you weren't going downhill, because when I looked, it looked like there's more space here. You could always take this, see, like maybe that is going down a little. Bring that up. If you care, because you're gonna wear it. And
we're super particular. Like, we want it perfect.
Okay.
Some people just slap it on.
Otherwise, I would say that looks good. Looks like a nice.
Another option, which we never do, they do make transfer paper that you can put on here so that this would go on their transfer paper so you can line the whole design up.
Yeah, which would be nice. All right, we have this little
Teflon.
It's just so your iron doesn't melt to your plastic here. And that fits just about perfectly.
So we do an actual iron. We don't have a press. That's on the list. Eventually we'll get a press.
Nicer.
It would, because a press also not just applies heat, but applies pressure.
Okay, so Brandon's really good at this, but I'm gonna have him do it.
I'll do it.
There is a right and wrong way to heat, I guess.
So you don't want to do motions, you want to just press. So I normally just count like to 3 or 5 in my head, and then I move, and I press. Now, obviously an iron is not perfectly shaped. So at some point, you're gonna wanna go and move it around or rotate the iron because you wanna get everything. After I've gone through and done the first press, then I'll go and start moving it around. The reason you don't wanna move it around at first is because you don't wanna accidentally slide the vinyl around.
Sometimes the vinyl doesn't always want to transfer very easily either. And I will like take the little protective sheet right off and go right on the plastic. I know you're not supposed to, but sometimes I have to. Now that looks like that's nice.
That looks good. Last step. So like I said, we did a layered design. So with a layered design, there are no like holes where like I have these ornaments. Instead, it's gonna lay right over the top and we're just gonna apply it. And since the design's there, it's easy to line up.
So those little spots don't require much heat really. Cool.
That's perfect.
So what I like to do, I put the sheet down one more time, usually, and go over it once more just to get any spots that maybe
I'll let you do your finishing touches. The other thing actually that I like about using the Teflon the final time, it actually textures the vinyl a little bit because this is textured and actually makes it look like it blends in with the shirt better. All right, we have our design.
I love it, looks good.
Hold it up. All right, so Joy's gonna try it on. She's gonna do a little modeling for us. Boom!
Looks shiny in the light.
How's the size? The size is perfect.
That's always a hard thing too, to figure out exactly where you want it on your shirt. So I don't know if I would have designed it to be like this big.
I think it's perfect.
But now that I see it, it looks good because this big jerk, that's gonna grab someone's attention to be like, what's your shirt say? So
just a couple notes while we're talking about the design. So I said like 2 or 3 fingers from the neckline, and this is why. So like generally your neckline in a normal cut shirt is going to be like at your collarbones. So going like the 3 fingers or like 2 to 3 inches down is gonna put the design in the middle of your like.
Also important not to get too far to the sides either.
Yep, and there's another trick for that as well. So most shirts, the arms have a seam. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna center the design based on the arm seam. And then what I like to do is to make sure that my design doesn't go past like 2 inches in from where it touches the collar. So anyway.
I love it.
Cool. So there's our holiday design. You saw basically the main process that it takes to make a shirt using a vinyl cutter. And we might do more episodes of these. Maybe next time we'll do some decals. So until then, see you guys later. Bye.